What's a menopausal woman to do when she's short on time and energy and long on goals? This episode is a quick reminder of what works according to science and what does not work, also according to science. What's the ideal schedule for a midlife woman? That was a recent question asked in our Flipping50 Insiders group. And if you're not there, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It's a free group on Facebook. I'm combining my response to that question with when I'm busy, right? So, what's the ideal schedule for a midlife woman when I'm really busy? Meaning, where do you prioritize? So, here it is coming up. This evidence-based detail that I relay here it's all backed up by 37 years of observations of women in midlife, including many fitness instructors who became easily burnt out. Our Flipping 50 community of 200,000 women in menopause provide the additional proof through their feedback, their questions, and their requests. You can hop into that Flipping 50 Insiders Facebook group too, where podcast listeners, YouTube, Flipping 50 TV subscribers, and Flipping 50 TV episode viewers gather for a community of like-minded women on the same path. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top struggles and concerns, but really hope to inspire you. I share what to eat, how to move, and how to change your mindset so that you can have the energy, the vitality that you want in the second and better half. So let's dive into this question. What's the ideal schedule for a midlife woman when she's really busy? Meaning, where are your priorities best put? Your energy, your time. For menopausal women with a unique set of hormone changes, metabolism, and body composition, not to mention socialization, just the way we were taught to think about exercise, I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Here's what I'll share: what works, what doesn't work, and why this is true. So here we go. Bullet points. What works? Number one, quality strength training sessions. And this is on the top of the list for a reason. It is the most important piece of your exercise puzzle. Quality strength training sessions are the only thing that will change your metabolism positively without increasing or accelerating the rate of aging. Yup, you heard me right. All that cardio that you've been taught, that you still believe, even though you're wondering, is that really right anymore? But it's just hard to change, right? And I get it. Causes free radical release, which cause oxidation, which causes aging. Strength training, less so. And if we are weaker and we have less muscle mass, we will become frail and dependent on other people faster, older, sicker. That's where we're headed if we don't strength train. So quality strength training sessions, that word quality is stuck in there for a reason. You've got to be reaching muscular fatigue. Someone just recently asked a question and said, I lift weights with medium weights regularly. Will I still benefit from your program? And interestingly, I said, I'm not sure what you mean by I lift medium weights. The question is, do you reach muscular fatigue at the end of every set? And is whatever you're doing now working? So my guess is that it's not working 100%, or you wouldn't be asking. So the answer was yes. But that's the point. Whether you personally, because of your joints or your conditions, need to lift lighter weights and do more repetitions to reach fatigue, or you are able, at least at certain joints, to lift heavy, meaning fewer repetitions to reach fatigue, muscular fatigue, not tired at the end of a set, not tired at the end of a workout. And I say this again and again because just the other day, a woman asked, so I was tired at the end of my workout, so that must have been good, right? I said, No, not necessarily. I said when you did the first set of exercises and you were doing 20 repetitions, did you reach fatigue? So 19 and 20 were almost too hard to do. You thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them. That's what you're after, not tired at the end of the workout. And ironically, muscular fatigue may not leave you wasted and drained at the end of a workout because we recover in 2 to 4 minutes. And yes, you may notice I work some muscles I haven't worked before, but you shouldn't be drained. It doesn't take that. It takes stimulation of the muscle. Okay. Big difference. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Number one, quality strength training sessions, meaning if you're due for a strength training workout, ideally you're doing them twice a week, leaving at least 72 hours between. That looks like Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday. Yep, not Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's your highest priority. If you're due for a strength training workout, do the strength training workout. Number two, high intensity interval training sessions. For a busy menopausal woman who is apparently healthy and not suffering from adrenal fatigue and exhaustion, high intensity interval training sessions make sense. Short but intense training workouts that reach breathless while you're in your interval or the work interval part, and matched by intervals where you are completely 100% recovering, not moving around like a crazy person thinking, I can do more, I can do more, I can do more. No, nope, nada. Doesn't work. You have to work really hard during the work and you have to recover really, really well. So you're breathing entirely with a closed mouth through your nose calmly when you're ready to push the gas pedal again. Now, how long do HIIT sessions have to be? Well, 10 minutes of HIIT is better than nothing. And that means you've got to do a little warm up and you got to do a little cool down. So maybe a 20-minute session, but does that help? Yep. How about 15 minutes? Yep. 5-minute warm up. Do 5 minutes of alternating high intensity, low intensity recovery intervals. Cool down. Is that better than nothing? Yep. Those things matter most. Where visceral belly fat is concerned, often an issue with women, even who haven't experienced weight gain. There's sometimes just, a relocation of parts. And often they take up residence somehow thinking near the equator maybe is warmer right around your midsection. So if you've got the belly fat, visceral belly fat, even though overall your weight is distributed pretty evenly otherwise, good, go for you. That's healthier. However, even those of us who are fit are not necessarily immune to that redistribution of belly fat, and it is a heart health risk. So we want to get that gone if possible. High intensity interval training sessions once, twice, or 3 times a week, depending. If you're a beginner, are you with me? It's once for a short period of time. Gradually, you increase to a little bit longer each time. Maybe then you increase to 2 a week, cut back on the time of each so that you're being smart, wise about increases so that you can tell where did I push the limit? Where did I go too far? Where is it working? Find the sweet spot. So reviewing so far what works, quality strength training sessions, 2 a week. HIIT sessions might be once when you're starting, twice or 3 times a week, depending, but you have in the bank for your interval trust sessions 45 minutes a week to spend. More is not better. More is more and throws your cortisol out the door. Yep, Dr. Seuss. Okay. Next, number 3, what works? Short exercise snacks of mobility, core, and movement. Listen, you don't have to be able to drive down the road, go to an hour-long yoga class, drive back, which is now 2 hours, right? You can do warrior poses, 3 of them, or sun salutations for 10 minutes in your living room or in your kitchen in the middle of the day. And that helps your mobility. Core. You can do standing core exercises. Slip your shoes off. Stand up. You can do it in a skirt and a dress, standing at the office. You can do it seated in your chair. Wow, seated. Okay, well, you and I are both going to pretend I didn't just say that. But You can sit in your chair. You can lift one leg off the floor. You can lift two legs off the floor. Try not to put your arms on the chair and hold yourself up in basically a Pilates teaser, right? So there are little things you can do to incorporate a wake up call for your muscles, which is a wake up call for your posture, which means you're going to have less tension at the end of the day anyway. And by the end of the day, you've done some movement, which we all know offsets that sitting that increases our mortality rate. If you're not following that, that means it kills you. Okay, movement. So short exercise snacks of movement. I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old Old English sheepdog. And the day I come to this podcast and have to tell you I don't have a 13-and-a-half-year-old Old English sheepdog is going to be a sad day indeed. However, we walk around the block. He's an excuse to get out of this chair. When it's cool enough outside here in Scottsdale, getting a little movement, even me getting up to go and let him outside the door, standing at the door, even if I don't go out, waiting for him, is movement out of my chair. Those are all good things. Make breaks, plan it, go to your mailbox, plan things in the middle of the day that make you get up, set an alarm. Okay, what doesn't work? So if we've reviewed number one, quality strength training workouts, it's on the top of the list. Next up, HIIT sessions when you're really short on time, and then intersperse those short exercise snacks of mobility, a few stretches here and there, core exercise, and just movement. What doesn't work? Skipping completely. All or nothing girl out there, I see you. Stop it right now. Little bits count. They do. So get them started. Put them on your calendar. Figure out a way. You are wasting time, I guarantee you, not listening to this podcast. That's not a waste of time. But you are wasting time doing something. You're waking up and you're going right to scroll your feed. Are you kidding? Put that phone down. Don't let that thing control your life. Do you remember when we didn't have the internet? Imagine you don't have Wi-Fi. Imagine you cannot connect. Think of it as a blessing. And don't pick up that phone until you've taken care of yourself. Number two, weekend warrior. You're really busy during the week, and so you tend not to fit it in. You tend not to get up 20 minutes earlier just so that you can fit in either some movement or some strength training or a HIIT. And instead, you try to catch up on the weekend. That, my friends, we used to call weekend warrior, and we used to refer to it in most males. That's what the case was. However, now it's something we're all guilty of because more and more women are actually the breadwinners. At least 41% of women or households are led by breadwinners who are females. So we're busy. We're doing it. So stop it. So don't try to catch up. Number one, you can't. You will probably rush yourself to an injury and you'll be recovering from that Monday through Friday and then re-injuring again on Saturday. So it does not work. There is no catching up. And you will throw your hormones under the bus big time by doing nothing, 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 and lots, nothing, 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 and lots. You're going to get yourself into trouble. That doesn't work either. Too much cortisol, both times. You don't get the optimization of your cortisol because you've exercised and purged a little of that adrenaline during the week. And you also get way too much. So whether you do high intensity interval training and you do strength training, the things I told you work. When you start stringing things together, like you do a high intensity interval training, and then you do your high quality strength training workout, and then maybe you go to the yoga, that's all in a row. That becomes endurance. That becomes tipping the cortisol scale. So you just made it all, the positive things, backfire. More is not better. That's where 1 and 1 is, like 47 and will not work. What else doesn't work? Too little recovery. So you're doing the exercise, you're doing so great, and you're saying, yes, I'm strength training, yes, I'm doing HIIT, but for you. And you've got to get this really through, all right, that recovery is an individual, unique to you need, and your need may change. Right now, it may be very different than what it was 6 months ago. And in another 3 or 6 months, it could be different again, especially if you're in the middle of really that high fluctuation of hormones, where you're in perimenopause, going into transitioning into late perimenopause into menopause. Sometimes it is so dramatic that one of the biggest places women will notice, I noticed anyway, was skin. Like my skin was great. People would comment like, you don't even have any of those wrinkles around your neck. And, I was like, I don't know about that. I've been a sun lover and a lifeguard since I was 16. So if you get close, I'm really good in candlelight, but I don't know. And yet, then 6 months later, when my estrogen went like down, I was like, oh, where'd that come from? Like my neck, like décolleté. I haven't used that word so many times since I've been in menopause, like before in my lifetime. I was like, where'd that happen? Right? But you too will notice certain things change dramatically. And when you do, it may be your energy level. It may be your need for recovery gets greater. That does not mean that, number one, it's permanent. It also doesn't mean that you will be less fit because you have to recover more. No, 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 no. So the thing we're not making clear in the fitness industry is this. If your need for recovery is greater, what we mean by that is if you take advantage of getting greater recovery, you will be more fit when you get it. I was on a panel the other day talking about exercise for autoimmune disease, specifically Hashimoto's. And the truth that wasn't coming out, and I'm afraid that we may have left listeners feeling like you're delicate and you can't get as fit as you want to, and you'll just have to settle. I think that's what we may have left listeners with, and that is absolutely wrong. The fact is, with a unique set of conditions and puzzle pieces that are yours, your needs for the exercise and your needs for the recovery are just different enough that you have to get into your sweet spot in order for you to reach your optimal fitness level. Now, none of us can do that comparison game. Not you to the instructor you see, not you to the other, if you're 57-year-old that you see, and not even you to you yesterday, but you right now. What would be more optimal in terms of energy and sleep and digestion and poop and all of the things? Because if we get some hints that this is working, I'm feeling better here, more sleep or more rested when I wake up, the fitness piece is going to come too, meaning more muscle, less fat, meaning more energy, meaning ease moving throughout your day, meaning optimism. So all that will work. So are you ready? I'm going to review what works. High quality strength training sessions. Number 2, short time, true for you, high intensity interval training sessions. Number 3, short exercise snacks, putting those in of mobility, of core, of movement. And you know what? Random doesn't work still, right? So movement is great. Plan on getting that somehow, any way that you can. However, if it's not, dinging you on your phone, I mean, aren't we attached to our telephone? So why wouldn't you set that darn thing up to be to your advantage as opposed to it buzzing when there's a text from your, pest control telling you that they're coming and you should be there? I mean, make sure you're running your own life with those devices, okay? So what else doesn't work? Remember, it was skipping weekend warrior to little recovery and then a split routine strength training. If your goal is weight loss and if adrenal fatigue is a threat for you. So split routine, what does that mean? That means like instead of doing a total body strength training routine where you're going to work all those major muscle groups in one session, which by the way could take 10 minutes, could take 15, 20 or 25 or 30. We can start with 10 though. You get consistency and a high quality workout right there. Done. Whole body worked out, stayed consistent. I'm on track. And I'm not worn out. I'm not thrown under the bus. I'm ready to go for the rest of the day. But a split routine is taking the pieces of your body and saying, okay, we're going to just do chest and triceps on this day. I'm going to do legs on this day. I'm going to do back and biceps on this day. Or maybe it's a bigger, broader upper body one day, lower body another day. And I'll do that again 2 more days later in the week after a day break. What works? Not that. So if your goal is to boost your metabolism so that you can lose a weight, you need total body. You can get up to about 8 times the benefit from strength and muscle recruitment that then positively impact your metabolism by doing a total body versus a split routine. Unless you are a woman who has hours to spend and you can expand on that workout. You can't just take the one or two exercises that you have per body part in a total body routine and cut them out and say, I'm going to do those on Tuesday instead of doing them all together. No. So if you're taking that body part kind of a split routine seriously, when you do your strength training, you're going to incorporate 2 to 4 exercises for all muscle groups. So for the pectorals, for the triceps, and then you're going to do 4 to 6 sets of each of those to muscular fatigue. And then you're going to take that combination. So you would do that, say, with chest press, 4 to 6 sets of a chest press. And then you would do a chest fly, another exercise, because you got to have more than one, and do 4 to 6 sets of that. And then you might do a push up and 4 to 6 sets of that. And then you're going to do the triceps with them because that's a secondary muscle group. So you're going to do tricep extensions overhead. You're going to do skull crushers as you're lying. You're going to do kickbacks or long lever triceps or dips if your shoulders can handle that. And you're going to do all of those exercises 4 to 6 sets worth. Now, we're talking about a 45-minute approximately workout again, but because you're working less muscle during that workout, you have to extend and expand the number of exercises you're doing for it and the number of sets and, if not, repetitions. So you can go heavier and do fewer sets. That works. Or fewer reps, I'm sorry, but you need more sets because you have to have some volume there in those muscles or there won't be enough stimulation. All right, what happens when you do all of that? I don't know, but I'm talking about it and I'm getting sore. Literally. I mean, I'm imagining doing that many sets and repetitions. And in order to get some rest that you need between working that muscle group again, you can't just come back and do set 2 and 3 and 4, boom, boom, boom. You have to take 2 to 4 minutes of rest between. So you're either wasting a lot of time, you are becoming the guy who scrolls through his phone because they're so important that they can't put that phone down for an hour while they work out. And, I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of time. And yet your muscles need that kind of rest between stimulation. It's easy to do and plan when you're doing a total body workout. It's not so easy if you're working on the same muscle group over and over and over and over again. So for that matter, then what's happening is adrenal fatigue because we've taken what is a total body workout twice a week that could be 60 to 90 minutes of your week spent in strength training. And now we're turning it into, say, 4 minimum days a week and maybe 5, depending on how you lay it out, potentially 6. But let's say optimistically. I think you can probably tell by now that my personal and professional opinion are really skewed toward total body because most women have a risk of adrenal fatigue in midlife. And most women do not have tons of time. Time is the biggest obstacle. In 37 years, it is the number one thing that comes up. I don't know if I have time to do it. I don't know. Well, do you have time to be sick, weak, and frail? I don't know. You think about that. Okay, so if you're exercising, not just 60 to 90 minutes a week, doing your strength training program with plenty of days to recover in between, and instead we change that and you're doubling it essentially. So from 2 to 4 and at least about 45 minutes between, now we're talking, you're doing at least 3, or 2 at the very least. But I would suggest that you're probably doing 45-minute workouts in each of those. So you've added an hour and a half and an hour and a half. You're at about 3 hours of strength training alone. Now we haven't talked about low to moderate exercise. We haven't talked about core. We haven't talked about mobility, flexibility, or high intensity interval training. And the question is really, I don't know how much you should do that either, because by the time you do all that strength training, you maybe should do very little otherwise because you're going to be tired. So there is that. All right. So there you have it. Reviewing again. What works? High quality strength training sessions. They do not have to be long. Notice, I didn't say they have to be 30 minutes. No, you have to hit major muscle groups, and you can do it in 10 minutes if that's all you have. HIIT sessions, also very short and time efficient, and short exercise snacks put anywhere in your day. Mobility of core and of movement. What doesn't work? Skipping altogether. Can't do it. I'm too busy. Come on. You're not the president of the United States. And every president I've ever known finds time. Weekend warrior, too little recovery, and a split routine, strength training versus total. You should be doing total. Okay, so what? It's not more? Right. For a menopausal woman, the shock is almost always about the reduced volume of exercise that is required. And I want to emphasize required. While you may be thinking if you do the required, then you'll lose more. You'll get better results. No, in this case, it's required that you do less. So, but listen, it's like having an A plus, right? So you're an A plus student. Good for you, because I was not. And then you're doing extra credit beyond that. It's not going to change your GPA. But it might take away from your ability to do work in other areas of your education or life, right? So while you keep trying to do better, essentially you're trying to go for the 4.2 instead of the 4.0 average in English. Your math and your science grades are falling behind, right? So overall, someone else with a better overall performance gets to be the valedictorian and not you. So if you exercise to excess and you skip the recovery, the nutrition, or your family and personal life balance, chances are you get tired, fat, and weaker, if not injured. All right. So do you need some support to reinforce that? Because it's a lot. And I potentially just threw some old limited beliefs that you didn't know were limited beliefs at you. So the answer is do less. Just do it in a way that is made for you, not in a marketed to you way. Flipping 50 programs are 100% built for you. And Flipping 50 fitness specialists are trained to identify when your workouts aren't working with the rest of your life, and sometimes before you realize the signs and the symptoms were there all along. And we have more and more Flipping 50 fitness specialists all the time. So if you're looking for one, wondering if there's one in your area, because you want to work with one live instead of remotely, like here at Flipping 50 online, check me out. Send us a message through support and we'll let you know. What we don't do is disclose a list to you of all of our trainers, but what we will do is have you tell us where in the world are you? How close does this trainer need to be? And we'll let you know. Some of our programs and memberships are only open a few times a year for enrollment, and others are always available to you. I'll put links in the show notes. And if you're a trainer or a health coach, there's never been a better time to be a menopause fitness specialist through Flipping 50. All right, what are you waiting for, listener? Let's start Flipping 50 today.